So I wanted to make a quick video regarding the POSP 4x24 side mount scope made in Belarus. Now I have this mounted on a Palmetto State AK-103, which is not a true Kalashnikov. It is a American clone of the AK-103. This is what the scope looks like, side mount. Now the thing about these scopes that you want to be aware of is your mounting hardware. In Russia, they have 3 different types of mounting hardware that go on these side rails. And I'm pretty sure that probably 95% of their rifles that are made in Russia or former Soviet Union have side mounts on them. And Russia, they like to do things old school. They don't change things. They don't have Picatinny. They don't have M-lock. They do things old school in Russia. And they just keep the same system. So these have been around for probably going back to before World War I, the side mount system. So mounts on the side, but like I said, 3 different types of mounting hardware. So make sure you do your research, find out what type of mounting hardware you need for your specific rifle. What I like about the side mount is I can still have access to my dust cover, still have decent, well, more than decent view of my iron sights. And even when I take this off, it still holds 0 pretty damn well. 2 turrets for adjustment, elevation, wind, things like that. Let me clear this rifle real quick. So, this was about $370 for this scope. And I felt like it was money well spent. It's a very, very accurate scope. Now, when you get this, you're gonna get some paperwork with it. And it's going to be from Belarus, from the Ministry of Defense. And if you're in the United States and you order this scope, which they're increasingly hard to get because of the war in Ukraine, this is going to get held up in customs. Trust me. It is mostly in Russian, the paperwork that you get. You're going to get a manual that's all in Russian. And you should get an English version, which has extremely loose translation on how to use this thing. Now, here, I gotta go to this one, show you what the reticle looks like, because my camera will not focus on the reticle itself. This is all in Russian. It's all useless to me. I don't know Russian. Now, this is what your reticle is gonna look like. You're gonna have a top right here, and you're gonna have a bottom reference, all in metric. 1, 2, 3, 4. Your bottom graph is a reference chart for a man-sized target at chest height from 1 to 400 meters. Your top chart here is the one that's adjustable, left, right, up, down. With, I believe this is probably 10 degrees difference, and you have 3 arrows that point up. Now the 3 arrows, as far as I know, the top arrow is the one that you're going to want to zero at 100 meters. That's the one that you want to zero at 100 meters. And that's your bullet drop at 300 meters on the bottom. I'm not sure what this graph is. This almost looks like a Dragunov scope. Really not sure. Anyways, this scope does have an illuminated reticle. So you have an on-off switch. Put your batteries back here. It's like 2 watch batteries. It'll illuminate monochromatic red, which the Russians love. And it's actually fairly decent for nighttime use. If you're gonna be shooting at night, it's actually fairly decent. But all the directions in here are, like I said, a loose translation. They are very helpful once you get this thing zeroed. It is a very, very accurate scope. I love this thing, I really do. And it's just a sweet looking scope. I've got the standard issue Russian AK sling on here. Even though this is an American made AK, I try to keep it pretty legit, you know, as far as like Eastern Bloc, Soviet Union goes. Try to keep it looking like the real thing. So not a true Kalashnikov, but POSP, mounts just fine on the side there. A great scope, very good scope.